again, everybody. I'm Snapper Lancaster, welcoming you to another edition of the Central Alabama High School Sports Show. Well, it's that time of year for the basketball players, both boys and girls, and the track teams and the wrestlers. They're getting ready for their second season, if you will. In other words, the playoffs are close, right on us, and we've got some outstanding teams here in the Birmingham area that we hope, as far as the boys and girls basketball, are going to make some noise in the tournament. And then, of course, we've got some outstanding track teams and wrestlers that are getting close also to their playoffs. And everything will accumulate with state titles for somebody. Tonight, on tonight's show, we've got some track stars from Gardendale High School that will be visiting with us. We've also got a wrestling coach and some of his players coming. And so we look forward to having a big evening. Once again, we always remind you, too, about the fact that we like to talk about our sponsors just a little bit to make you aware of the fact of how important they are to us. And folks, once again, we want to tell you that every time you get a chance to frequent our sponsors, please do so. Something else has happened in high school athletics here in the past few days, and that is reclassification has occurred, and there's been some changes that we'll be talking about in the next few weeks, where some teams will be moving from sections of the state to play in areas where it's going to be some travel situations cause some problems or for some of these teams, but not a whole lot of movement in the classifications, but definitely some, especially for a couple of teams here in the Birmingham, Jefferson County area. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we'll be visiting with our first guest of the evening. Don't you go away.
You know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa. The amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course. Miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
Good driver discount, multi-car discount, good student discount. Helping you save money on car insurance is just part of the service you get from State Farm agent Jack Traffinstead. Whether an accident or a simple question, Jack and his staff get you the help you need. And that's the value only a State Farm agent can provide. Call Jack Traffinstead today. 40 million drivers already know nobody gives more discounts to more drivers than State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective. And folks, welcome back. And in our first segment here, as you can tell, I got three outstanding young athletes sitting close to me, and they are from Gardendale High School, the Rockets, and they run track. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But in this first segment, of all things, this is usually the segment where you'd see us talking to their coach. But there was a situation that arose. She wasn't able to make it, but the girls were able to come. So we're going to have two segments with them. And in the first segment, we're going to talk with these young ladies, and we're starting with Ariel Douglas. You're a senior.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then Ashley Harris, also a senior. And then got Rakesha White, Ray Ray, but you're a sophomore, right?
Yes.
So you're the baby of the bunch.
Yes.
Okay, well we'll talk about and get to know you a little bit better. First of all, girls, and especially with you seniors, And of course, Ariel, you're a senior. Do you participate in the other sports, or is track what you've always
Track
done?
is what I've always done. So.
Really, what is it about track that interested you enough to where you've ended up doing it in high school?
Well, I was introduced to it when I was very young, so I guess it just kind of stuck when I did it, and I've just been doing it ever since.
Yeah, have you played any other sports?
I've cheered, and I've danced, but
Really?
Yeah.
But the running,
Running
is
stuff.
what you really enjoy. Okay. Ashley, how about you?
Yeah, I was,
Have you participated in the other sports other than running?
when I was younger, I did gymnastics, and I really liked it. I did it for 5 years.
Yeah.
But when I got into track, it was something about it. It was just, I just love the sport and the people in it, and it's just really good.
What is the challenge for you as far as being a track star?
That it's an individual sport, so your times and what you do is all on you. Even though you are with a team, it falls back on you because it's mostly individual.
Right. The team concept, but you're still competing one-on-one, sort of, in that situation. Of course, and we'll talk about in the track segment, you could have relays and stuff like that where you're actually competing with help. But Ray, we'll ask you, do you participate in any other sports, or have you always ran track?
I've run track since I was 8 years old, but I used to play softball a couple of years
Really?
before. But
So did you give up softball?
yes,
Well, that's okay. What was it about track that appealed to you so much?
I like the adrenaline it gives you when you run. It's just like something I just love.
Yeah. Well, Ariel, now being a senior, when you graduate, are you off to college, or do you know what lies ahead for you?
Yeah, I am going to college. I'm thinking I'm probably going to go to University of Alabama in Huntsville, and my coach is trying to work around and getting them look at me so I can try to run for them.
Well, good. Now, what kind of courses would you take? What do you hope to do for a job in the future, an occupation?
I want to be a nurse practitioner.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So you want to be able to help somebody, and
Yes,
that's
sir.
a great way to do it. That's a great field to be in. With that thought in mind, Ashley, what lies ahead for you after you graduate?
I plan on attending Troy University, and I want to get into physical therapy when I
Really?
graduate.
All right, now let me ask you, and I ask guys this all the time, and I'll ask young ladies as well. With everything being around sports and all that kind of stuff, has the idea of being a teacher, coach, ever appealed to you, or do you think about that? And Ariel, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, if I could, I would coach a track team. I would want to start young, though. I would want to get them young because that's where it counts at. Because if you don't have that push when you're young, once you're older, it's not going to be there like at all.
Yeah, well, you're right, because a lot of times, whether we like it or not, we'll get set in our ways, and sometimes we may have tendencies that would be negative that if we had them turned around earlier,
Yeah.
might make a complete difference in our life, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I know, Ray, you've got a lot of time left to decide what you want to do, and of course, you probably don't know where you want to go, but if you could go anywhere today, if after school's out, you could go to any college you wanted to, where would you go?
Probably Mississippi State. I
Really?
like them.
Okay, so you're drawn to that school for whatever reason. Okay, now girls, this is the first time I've ever met y'all. I do not know anything about you. So here's a question I enjoy asking young athletes. Are you superstitious, or do you have a hobby that not many people know about, and I sure wouldn't guess that was it? Or are you one of these kind of persons that likes to maybe sing in the shower, but when the shower stops, you're not that hot star? But tell me something about yourself that would surprise me if you told me. And Ariel, we'll start with you.
I just work a lot, and I be at home with my mom or with my friends.
Yeah, you're a workaholic?
No, not really. I do work a lot, but I always find time for family and friends because
Oh, absolutely. What's that old saying? All work and no play.
Yeah,
You
no,
got to
I
have that
have to
social
play,
life,
yes.
and and it makes you well-rounded, as the old saying goes. You
Yes.
don't work all the time, do we?
No, but I'm social. I just like I love
Social
people.
butterfly?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ashley, how about you?
Well, to kind of hit on the superstition thing, like before a track meet, like I have to have one piece of toast. Like I have to have a toast.
Really? Now, I've heard a lot of superstitions. That's the first time I've heard one like that, and it's just sort of unique. But it's amazing how we are sometimes, you know. And but I guess they say, well, time to go to track meet. Wait, let's go get some toast first. Right? Well, that's all right. That's all right. How about you, Ray Ray?
Same as Ashley. I always have to have some kind of fruit. Fruit always. Like if I have a track meet, all I'll eat was fruit before I run. After.
Really? When we're talking about fruit, we're not talking about Fruit Loops.
No.
No, some fruit. Well, that's a good thing too. It's one of those quick kind of snacks that you get some instant energy out of, and it also helps a whole bunch if you like it too, right?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, everybody's different. I know when you're running cross country, most of the time it's a sportsplex, right, for indoor.
Yes.
And so, do y'all run in track year round? Are you involved in track year round?
Well, I kind of break for the summer, which I did want to run summer track, but yeah, it's just so hot, Lord. It's hot. But it takes a lot of time out of your summer to run a summer track because you travel so much and it's kind of expensive. So.
But y'all run track year round in school, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we found out a little bit about the girls, what they do and what they don't do. Now we're going to get busy. In the next segment, we'll talk about the actual running and what that all entails for them. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
The next time you need electrical work, whether it be commercial or residential, you need to call Huffman Electrical Contractors. A company that's been in business for over 35 years. They've served clients not only locally in the Birmingham area and all over the state, but have clients outside the state of Alabama as well. Whether it's a new building or remodeling an older building or home, they can handle the job for you. Once again, that's Huffman Electrical Contractors. The number to call is 205-661-5005. That's 205-661-5005. Where at Huffman Electrical Contractors, a satisfied customer is always their number one objective.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Alan Gurdeau in Trussville today.
And folks, welcome back. In this segment, once again, we're visiting with our three young athletes from Gardendale, the Rockets, and they are track stars, run year round, but now we're talking about indoor track in particular. And so with that thought in mind, Ariel, what is your expertise? What events do you participate in?
Well, I do the 400-meter yard dash, and also in indoor, I do the 4x2, which is a relay with 4 people, each one run 200 meters.
Right. Now you talk about, we asked you a while ago, exactly how long have you been running?
I've been running since I was about 8 or 9.
Oh, okay. So that's a love that you have.
Yes.
Okay. Ashley, what is your events?
60, 100, and 300-meter hurdles.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. The hurdles.
Yes, sir.
And that's a challenging thing. Have you ever, I guess you have, all athletes like that, they're hurdlers, I guess we've fallen at one time or another, right?
You just got to get back up.
Yeah, but you have to get rid of the fear that, boy, if you don't get over that hurdle and you trip, that's when injuries, sometimes occur. But I'm sure at some time or another we've all fallen. And so, like you said, mentally you just have to block that out of your mind because the next time you don't even think about it. You just stand and think about those hurdles, right?
That's right.
Okay. Ray Ray, how about you? What's
My
your...
events are, for indoor, I run the 60-meter dash and the 4x2 with these two and one other girl. And for outdoor, I run the 100, 200, and 4x1.
Oh, okay. Now, which part of the season do you girls prefer?
Outdoor. We love outdoor.
Yeah, you know, I've heard a lot of girls say that, and I've got a granddaughter that runs cross country and track at Hewitt-Trussville, and she has said she does not like the indoor. And, you know, the Crossplex is a great facility.
It is, but it's really so crowded.
Yeah.
Like it's because there's so many
So
schools.
you can't hardly breathe sometimes.
Yeah, it's a lot of
The
people.
practice room is the worst.
Yes, it's
So
like
many people.
it's a lot of people, and it's like you have to think about this. Schools from all
Right,
around. It's
right.
not sometimes not even just in Alabama. Sometimes they come from out of state to come run with us. So it's pretty crowded, and then you got to think about the people that coming to watch. It's crowded,
Yeah.
and it takes the track meets are from like 8 in the morning until like 9 at night. So they're pretty long.
Wow. Well, now that's, y'all aren't the first persons that have said something about that. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy it. It's just that the other venues, the outside, you enjoy better.
Yeah, it's just you can do a little bit more outdoors, a little bit quicker. And, you know, it's
Well,
less
now, one
teams.
question that I asked athletes sometimes too are about rivalries you might have. Do y'all end up with rivalries
Yes.
in track and field? Now,
Oh,
is
yeah.
it teams or is it individuals or a combination?
It's both.
It's both. It's a combination of both.
Okay. Now, the number one critters y'all want to line up and beat more than anybody else, and we'll
Centerpoint.
start with you. Who is it?
Center Point.
Centerpoint. Is that for all you girls? Well, how about you?
Walker.
Who?
Yes,
And her-
John Carroll.
Really? John Carroll. And who else did you say?
Walker.
Walker. Now why? Is it because they're good and you have to, in order to beat them, you have to be at your best? That's a real challenge.
Yes.
Really? Okay. Do you ever run across people that you'll compete against them? I guess that this happens year round. That fall and indoor and spring, you're running against some of the same people sometimes.
Yeah, most of the time it's the same people. If you run outdoor, most likely at other schools you run indoor too. Because sometimes their track is set up like you can't run outdoor unless you run indoor, but like ours is not set up like that. It's a choice. If you run indoor, you can run indoor, and if you run outdoor, you can run outdoor. But it's better to run indoor if you're going to do outdoor because you're already prepared and you've been training and you've been in the atmosphere, so you're already in that mode. So you don't have to get into your mojo because you're already in it because you've been running for months. So that's a little bit better.
Well, another question that I would ask you, and sort of a curiosity question, are there any ladies in track and field that you sort of would want to be able to run that way, or do you have somebody that you can pick up as a favorite, a collegiate or something? Or,
Yes.
is it more or less just you and being the best you can be?
Are you saying professional or are you meaning?
Oh, either one, collegiate or I don't know that many professional track stars. I guess they're out there, but it's hard, I guess, to have a track star like that you could model your running after or whatever, because there aren't that many, are there?
I mean, they are. They are. You gotta think about when you're thinking about track stars, you want to think about Olympics because that's
Right,
the
absolutely.
goal. So we most likely look up at our U.S. Olympic,
Yeah.
team for track. That's who we would look up to, and I look up to other countries too. Their
Yeah.
girls that run because they're really good too.
Well, that's sort of unique at that. Another question that I would enjoy finding out how you feel about it. Even a sport like track, team chemistry is an important thing.
It's very important.
It's
If
very.
you like each other, you can be the best you can be, not only as an individual, but as a team.
Yes.
Especially with the relays.
Yes.
Well, so with that thought in mind,
The relays. Here we go.
this is where we will become a politician. Ariel, tell me about the team chemistry on your team.
We have our ups and our downs. Okay, like
You're like a yo-yo?
A roller coaster.
What's
A roller coaster, I like that. Well,
on our
okay.
team.
So there are times when you probably feel like you maximize what you can be and times when there are bumps in the road,
Yes.
so to speak. That happens to all of us. Welcome to the real world.
Right.
And it's how you handle it.
Right.
If it's adversity, we grow from adversity, okay? Sometimes you learn some of the best lessons from losing or, or being underdogs, because it's easy to be a winner. Everybody looks like they're on top of the world or whatever. That's not what real life is about, is it? It's just ups and downs, and not every day you're going to be a winner.
Well, I relay last year, we came into the season, we were decent, but we weren't state material when we first started. But by the end of the season, we were state material, and we worked towards that. And we had our differences and our fights and our arguments, but we got there, and we got the state, and that was the goal.
That's the most important thing.
Right.
Well, girls, one last question I want to ask. To this point in your young lives, who's been the most inspirational person or persons in your life? And we'll start with you, Ariel.
My mom and my aunt.
That's good. Mom's always there, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
How about you, Ashley?
My mother.
Mom?
I would say my grandmother.
Who?
My grandmother.
Well, great. Well, I tell you what, girls, it's been a joy to meet you girls, and I get the idea y'all enjoy what you do, and that's the most important thing too. When you're participating in athletics, you got to enjoy what you do, who you're around, and everything. And so I know you got your state meets coming up.
Yes.
And so I want you to be the best you can be. Come away with a trophy or two, okay?
Yes,
but more than that, enjoy the experience, all right?
All right, thank you.
And good luck to
Thank
you.
you.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, another sport, more athletes. Don't you go away.
And this will be your premium right here.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want to say I combined home and auto with State Farm.
Saved $760.
Love this guy.
Okay, does it bother anybody else that the mime is talking? Freaky.
Bundle home and auto, and you could save $760.
That's 760 very good reasons to call Ted Townley in Homewood today.
Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven. A taste of heaven is always best. Now you know that you're blessed. Give your taste a whole new spin. Bring your friends and come on in. Take your taste to a different place. It's the taste of hamburger heaven.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. No, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. In this segment, we're going to be visiting with a wrestling coach, as we talked about earlier. And of course, we're talking about T. Adams here, Coach Adams of the Hewitt Trussville Huskies. And Coach, first of all, nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And good to see you, because we did find out in our earlier talks that we had a connection there. You went to Vestavia Hills High School.
That's
and
correct.
had Coach Gaydash on about a month ago, and you coached under him.
I did,
Right? And
yes.
I guess, did you wrestle there
I
too?
also wrestled underneath
Did you,
him.
and you played football?
Yes.
Yeah, I figured you probably did, because that's when I started doing the play-by-play for the football team all those years ago, and so we had a certain bond there. But talk to us a little bit about not only your background, but what's led you to be the head wrestling coach there at Hewitt Trussville.
Like I said, background, I went to Vestavia Hills, wrestled under the legendary coach out here, Steve Gaydash. He helped me become a better wrestler in this sport. I won 2 state titles under him, high school All-American as well. So I took those talents to college, to Upper Iowa University, wrestled Division II. And I liked the way Gaydash did things and the way he helped young athletes, and so I got into teaching and coaching.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Was that an aspiration, or had you ever thought about that as you went off to college, that maybe one day you might be a head coach?
I thought about it, but I didn't think it'd be here as soon as it's been. Like I said, I've learned from the best under Gaydash. So this is my now 5th year being a head coach. So well, time flies.
Well, let me ask you this too. How do the athletes differ today from back when you were in school, or are they similar since there's really not that much time differential there?
I believe now athletes now, I think they're more, they get more now. I think they're open to more things. There's more camps. There are more opportunities to wrestle now than when it was, you say now, 13, 14 years ago.
Yeah, I know one thing that we would talk about, and of course this ages me as well, but whenever I used to see wrestling, it was WWA and all that kind of stuff, and it took me a while to figure out, boy, they were the best actors in the world, you know, and it's a wonder they didn't kill each other as big and powerful as they were, and the way I thought they were hitting each other, you know. But what we realize, and of course, I'm sure people aren't as naive as I was, that's not what wrestling is all about.
No, that's
I
not
mean,
wrestling.
the show that they put on is completely different from the athletes that you have that you were when you take the mat and go up against another individual. Talk about that. I know a lot of times people that they don't really know the inward works or how high school wrestling is, they take it for granted it's that stuff on TV.
Right. I love the stuff on TV too. I grew up, my grandfather was big into, you know, WWF and all that good stuff. And when I first got into wrestling in 7th grade, that's what I thought it was too. But that's not it. I mean, it's a tough sport. It's a ground out sport. You know, kids have to, you know, diet and watch what they eat to make a certain weight class. So, and it's a little bit, it's more control. You know, you got rules. I know people try to get it mixed up with, you know, MMA fighting and stuff like that, and it's not on that level. So, like I said, it's a great sport, and like I said, and if you don't know, if you hear wrestling, you're gonna think, you know, WWF, and you know, and that's not the case.
Well, let me ask you. You said, where was it? You said you went to college?
Upper Iowa University.
All right. Now, I thought you said Iowa, and the one thing how did you experience this up there? It seems like, or I've always thought this, that wrestling, especially high school wrestling, was bigger up north.
It is.
Than it was down here.
You know, being from the South, you know, you go to, you know, high school football games, and, you know, everybody's, you know, it's packed out. And in Iowa, it was different because the football games, number one, it's cold, so we don't have a lot of people out there. But for wrestling meets, they would sell out and pack gyms for wrestling meets. So, I mean, it was a neat experience. I got to go to the Iowa State tournament. They used to have it in a place in Ames called the Barn. And so, I mean, it's a great experience to watch Iowa style wrestling, which is completely different than how we do things down here.
Right. Well, the other question I would ask you pertaining to that is, when you were at Vestavia as an athlete, student athlete, did you play football as well?
I did.
All right, now that's one question I would ask you, and I may ask the young gentleman you have with you. Back in your day, did playing football help you in your wrestling with your quickness or whatever, or toughness, or just talk about that?
I thought they helped. I thought they go hand in hand. You know, wrestling, you have to be physical, and, you know, and I wasn't the biggest guy playing football, maybe 145 pounds, but, you know, I took that opportunity and what I learned from wrestling to help play football and to be more aggressive in situations, like quickness, and, you know, being able to use my hips and turn my hips. Like I said, I think they go hand in hand. I wish more kids would.
Well, I know when you were at college, you were probably taking some courses to prepare you for what kind of occupation?
Teacher.
Teacher? Oh, okay. So you always wanted to be a teacher?
Not at first.
Really? What did you want to be?
Well, it was, I got a job on campus as a math tutor, and that's how I kind of started off. And the advisor in there, she said, "You're pretty good at this." She said, "I think you should become a teacher." I think I laughed at her at that time, but, you know, I started taking some classes and I started, you know, liking what I was doing. So it kind of snowballed into, you know, now teacher coach.
Now when you got into that teaching career, in your mind, did you say, one day I'm going to be a coach? Did you ever think about that? How'd that come about?
You know, I thought at some point it'd come hand in hand, But I love and enjoy helping kids, because I mean, like I said, going to Vestavia, I had so many people who opened doors for me and helped me. So just trying to give back.
Yeah, well, now you talk about the Vestavia program. What are your long-range plans, or what are your long-range hopes for the wrestling program that you're trusting?
I'm trying to build and get us to a state championship contender year in, year out. And it takes hard work. And I got a couple guys here today who've bought in and put in time and work. And like I said, I know it's not going to happen overnight. Like being my third year here at Trussville, and I think we're doing it the right way. We're building through our middle school and youth programs to help our kids be successful.
Well, I was going to say, one of the things that's going to play a big part in that is participation. And what I mean by that, do you have a lot of young athletes that are, has it surprised you the number that you've had to come out for the wrestling team?
Yeah, we're starting to get our numbers back up, and it starts with the little kids and then getting up to the middle school. And just trying to keep them out. Like I said, wrestling's a tough sport, and you don't want to burn a kid out too soon, but you want to keep them interested enough so that we can see that's building. So when you come in as a freshman, especially if we can get this team where we are to win a state title, those freshmen come in with those same aspirations, and so we can keep building.
Well, I know when you were at Vestavia, and I go back to that because you did the same thing there that you're doing here at Hewitt. What was the motivation to be a wrestler? What actually got you into that?
I don't know. I needed to do something else. I knew I wasn't the tallest kid in class. I knew basketball wasn't going to be a long-term goal. So I got into wrestling. I knew going into high school, the team had previously won 3 state championships. And, as a freshman going in, you don't want to be the class who not get 4. So, you're going with those aspirations and those goals to keep it up.
Well, are you slowly but surely, here you are in your 3rd year at Hewitt, and I know the time gets away from us, but are you seeing the kids gravitating to the wrestling program?
Yeah, we're starting to get some kids to gravitate to us, and like I said, it takes with that winning aspiration, like I said, trying to get younger kids to be ready, which I think we've done here over these last couple of years.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, 1, it's awfully good to meet you. 2, to find out that we had that common bond, because I know that Coach has that love for wrestling that you do, Coach Gaydish, and what a big inspiration he's been. I wish the best luck for you in your career there at Hewitt. It seems like it's off to a great start, and maybe that championship's right around the road.
Thank you, sir.
Okay? We'll take a quick break. When we come back, 3 young wrestlers that play a big part in the success they've had thus far this year. We'll be right back. Land of Frost Premium is America's best-selling 1-pound deli pouch, now available in 12 delicious flavors, including new flavors of mesquite turkey and cotto salami. High school athletes across the country ask for Land of Frost by name. These great items are available at your local grocer, including Piggly Wiggly, Food Giant, Western supermarkets, and many more. Land of Frost also makes other varieties of lunch meats, including deli shaved bistro and sub sandwich kits. Land of Frost is a proud sponsor of youth sports as well.
The community features a world-class resort and spa, the amazing Robert Trent Jones Trail Golf Course, miles of historic trails, and the whole family loves the pool at Ross Park. Oh, are we gonna have to watch your vacation slides all night?
This was supposed to be a party.
Well, this isn't my vacation. I live here.
Ooh.
And folks, welcome back. As you can see, I got 3 strapping young athletes here sitting next to me, and I'm not going to cause them any problems, because if they're real wrestlers, they're not the guys on TV. If they get on me, it won't be fake. But guys, good to see you. Sitting closest to me, Kel Land, freshman, and Kel, good to see you. Next to him, Heath Williamson, a junior. And then, of course, here, Davis Perry, the senior in the bunch. All right, guys, going into this year, and I know wrestling is a team sport, but yet it's an individual sport as well. And with that thought in mind, Kel, tell me, how long have you been interested in wrestling, and what got you interested in it?
I've been wrestling like 4 years, and my brother wrestled a year before me, and I wanted to do what he did.
Really? How do you like that young coach over there? You don't have a burly older gentleman. He's almost young enough to get on the mat with you. Has he been, you've enjoyed the experience thus far?
Yeah, I love him.
Is he one of these that's true grit, no nonsense, or will he allow you to cut up a little bit now?
He'll allow us to cut up a little bit.
Well, that's good. You got to have both sides of it, don't you? Now you're a junior, wrestling in the 120-pound class, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you participate in any other sports?
I participate in football, and then that's it, wrestling and football.
Okay, now the normal question that you'd have after that, which one do you like the most? And the wrestling coach is sitting right over there. Now, don't let that influence you.
It's a tough choice to say. Personally, I like wrestling more just because I've done it for a lot longer. It's just everything about it. I love wrestling.
You could be a politician, you know that. That's the right thing to say. That's great. Yeah. What is it you like about wrestling? Is the individuality of it?
I like how it teaches you more than just getting out there and doing the sport. It teaches you dedication. Teach you that it's a team sport, but it's just you and him. There's no one else gonna help you. Right. You're out there on the mat all on your own.
Okay, well that's a very good point. Davis, how's about you, the only senior on the group? Let me ask you this very quickly. Being a senior, you know where you're going to go to school next year?
I'm going to go to Auburn University.
Are you going to wrestle?
I'm not going to wrestle.
You're not going to wrestle? Well, I was going to tell you this, don't take it personal. If you go into Auburn, I'll pray for you. No, that's an Alabama fan, isn't it? Auburn's a great school, too. What kind of courses are you going to take?
I'm a major in electrical engineering.
Really? Okay, well, fantastic school there. Now, what turned you on to wrestling? Is wrestling the only sport you participate in?
I did track last year just for fun, but wrestling is really my main sport. It's what I do. I was in 2nd grade, and this guy came in with his wrestling video. It was like, hey, we want y'all to come join our youth program. So I thought, wow, that looks pretty cool. Might as well do that. So
really?
I've been doing it for a while.
All right, now, to me, wrestling, from a high school standpoint, is the ultimate individual team sport. And what I mean by that is like, we were talking about with Heath just a second ago, it's you one-on-one with that person across the mat from you. Do you like that individuality?
I love that.
It's the challenge?
Yeah, I played football when I was little, and I hated having to rely on everybody and having to make sure they did everything right, and I did everything right. But wrestling, it's just you. Like, there's no excuses. If you mess up, you mess up. Like,
when I tell you what, I'm going to ask you a question because you're the senior on the bunch that I ask a lot of athletes about. And it's there's a word in sports that I think that we take for granted sometimes, but it's very important: chemistry. Now, if you like each other, one, you can be the best you can be as an individual, and you can be the best you can be as a team. So with that thought in mind, talk about the team chemistry on this year's wrestling team.
With a tough sport like wrestling, it's really a bond because you all go through everything together. You go through weight cutting together. You go through all those sprints, all this conditioning. And it's really, you build a stronger bond that way. And everybody respects each other because you all know that you've been through the same stuff, and it's just really hard, and everybody loves it.
Well, now, a curiosity question about your wrestling team, and it's easier for me to look at this in sports like baseball and football and even basketball. Do you have a school or a team that you enjoy wrestling, competing against over another team? Who do you look forward to getting on the mat with?
Really, we love wrestling Thompson because they're the state champs. We really want to really bring it to them. Vestavia because they've had a long-term history of being good. We view ourselves as being up there with them, so we like to really compete with them, the top-level teams.
Well, now, Heath, we'll continue that thought just a little bit. How do you feel about it? Are you one of these athletes that think you got to beat the best in order to be the best?
Yes, sir. I think that you see seeding and rankings and everything. I don't believe in it. I think you go out there and you got to face the best kid in your weight class, and you got to go as hard as you can every single time. Because kids' rankings mean nothing. Kids beat other kids just all the time. And you just got to go out there and wrestle everybody the exact same, and as hard as you can go.
So do you look forward to the state meet coming up?
Yes, sir. I'm ready for it.
Now look, I'm going to say something. If I mess this up, trust me, I'm capable of messing up something. But if I do, you correct me. But these are some impressive numbers that the coach passed along to me if I got them right. And I'm going to start with you, Kale. Ninth grader, you 38-3 this year?
Yes, sir.
That is pretty impressive. Do any matches stand out to you or any meets stand out to you as a freshman, first go around? Who have you enjoyed competing? Maybe who's been the toughest people you've competed against?
Like the toughest tournaments in the past, like over Christmas break in Vestavia, a couple out-of-state teams came. So wrestling those kind of kids.
It's a challenge, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
And an opportunity
Yes,
as
sir.
well. Now, Heath, I may have this wrong. 41-0.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
You haven't wrestled me yet. No, I'm just playing. That is impressive. That is impressive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
The junior, I know you're looking forward to the upcoming state
Yes, sir.
matches, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
And Davis, we didn't mean to leave you
Yes,
out
sir.
because 19-0.
Yes, sir.
Boys, I'm telling you, now those are pretty, that's high expectations. Now, I'm going to ask you the same thing, and we'll start with you, Kale, that I ask football players and baseball players, basketball. Has this team peaked yet? Have you wrestled your best match yet, or do you think it's still ahead of you?
I think it's still ahead of us, like our whole team, really. I think we're going to peak towards the very last tournament.
And he makes a good point. Heath, have y'all peaked yet?
No, sir. Looking for us to peak right at sectionals and state. We've been training, ready to hit that peak. We haven't hit it yet, though. It's coming.
You ready?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'm going to ask you a question now that I'm curious what you guys might say. Time's getting away, but we're going to take care of this. I got two more questions I want to ask you. The first one is, first time I've ever met you guys, do you have a habit or a superstition that nobody knows about, but you can share with me and it would sort of surprise me or think, my goodness, is that right? So what would that be, Kel, if I was asking you that question?
Just.
All right, example. Do you like hunting and fishing, or you've got other hobbies that you like?
I like fishing in the summer and.
Yeah, fishing, that's a tranquil occupation or sport. Not like wrestling, is it?
Mm-mm.
Okay. How about you, Heath?
I do a little bit of fishing. I do some disc golf.
Really? Now I love golf. I haven't caught on to this dish throwing at the little thing setting up in the park. I still like to do it with a golf club.
Yes, sir.
But whatever you want to do is fine, okay? Davis, how about you?
Really just anything outdoors. I like hiking and stuff.
Really? Oh, okay. Now, the wrestlers, you always got to be in shape and everything, so that hiking and that kind of thing, that would appeal to wrestlers, wouldn't it, as far as shape is concerned. All right, guys, the last question I'm going to ask you, and it's a very important question. And we get all kind of different answers, but to this point in your life, and it's in your young life, these guys' older life, who's been the most inspirational person or persons so far?
Really my parents. They keep me motivated and stay with me.
Well, good. Mom and dads are always there, right?
Yes,
how about
sir.
you, Heath?
Oh, that's a tough question. Of course, my parents, I've had a tough brother that's always pushed me, and then I've had a couple of coaches that have always pushed me my whole life and have never told me that I'm at my greatest yet.
Well, they still want you to be the best you can be, right?
Yes, sir.
Davis, how about you?
For me, it's just been all my coaches. I mean, they've just been so supportive, and they really just guide me in the right direction. They help me with all my goals, and they really push me on.
Folks, we've had a great evening tonight. We've had some outstanding young athletes, an outstanding coach. We'll do the same thing again next week. So then, you know what the Snapper always says, bicycle.